20% of our population is 60 years or older. This past year, we gained close to 100 elders, and believe it or not, 12 of those folks were 90 years and older. Results of the survey of our department that we did with the Friends of the COA in 2008 showed that 89% of people surveyed over the age of 60 plan to stay in North Reading. The fastest growth in the 55 to 64-year-old cohort during this past decade occurred in the western states and in New England. And yes, I just threw out another number at age 55. As many of you in this room already know, who already got their membership from AARP at 49 and a half, they consider the age 50 the new becoming of age. Now here's a statistic for you. An American turns 50 once every 7 seconds. The fact is that 50-plus population is the fastest growing population worldwide. These numbers will hold true once the 2010 U.S. Census begins filtering out in December. These numbers will also show a 50-plus American in multi-generational suburbs like North Reading that not so long ago were considered preserves for the young families. These are people a lot of communities would like to have. By and large, they make few demands on the town and contribute through their resources, buying power and volunteerism. But, and I say but, 10 or so years from now, that will make a difference. Those same people will be there, but they will need more medical care and social services. An adequately funded senior center and elder affairs department is vital in maximizing their healthy independence. So in other words, our population is aging, which is really a good thing because think of the alternative. The trend of aging in place isn't new. People over 50 have always been less likely to migrate than younger people, but these extraordinary numbers of our seasoned adults will be far more noticeable in the places they age than their predecessors. I know you have all read very thoroughly my budget request, my program description, my FY11 objectives, etc. And I want to thank the town for being good to our department the last few years with the purchase of a new van, new offices, funding for a space study, and in late spring we'll start the rehab of the outside of the building on the common. But I do hope you listen to what I said tonight so we can go forward and plan accordingly to make North Reading the place to grow old, because as we say in our newsletter, there is no place like home. And I know you will all agree on that. So, opening statement, any questions?
No, we're gonna, yes, sure.
It's not really a question, but really what you're saying is that as we grow older, the income is less, but the cost will be more.
Absolutely. And we have a huge older growing population now in North Reading and growing in North Reading.
So the burden on the taxpayer for that age bracket is probably going to increase.
Yes, probably not unlike school children. The numbers are there, and I think it's something that we as a community have to look at, that it's happening, it's not going away. And the numbers are growing, and there are going to be needs that have to be met.
It's interesting, like, to hear it, because it's something that's an out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, absolutely,
scenario,
because none of us are getting old. I mean, I have a 9-year-old who still won't come to the senior center because he's not old enough. So, I mean, out of sight, out of mind, but the numbers are there. We need services, and I ask the community and the town to consider this in their future planning.
The contribution to those services, I'm trying to draw a comparison here, and I hope I can do it. You have parents of children, and the families contribute to the tax base to cover whatever portion of the educational costs and town general government costs are. But when we get into a senior bracket area, all right, I would think that contribution is a smaller number, dollars and cents wise, but a increased usage scenario, for lack of better.
Yeah, it's not going to cost as much money probably to take care of a senior citizen as it is to educate a child. But most people today in our age bracket spend more time taking care of their parents than they do raising their children. So it affects the entire community. And like I said, the need is there. We have to be aware that it's happening and the numbers are growing.
Mary, in terms of your budget, you have an increase, to get to your level funded budget, there's an increase non-union wages, and then you have an offset and a decrease in purchases and services, professional services.
Right.
What are you going to decrease?
What am I gonna do with my decrease in professional services?
Yeah,
What's the big cut?
what is that?
My professional services is the budget that helps pay for our wellness instructors, exercise instructors. Maybe I have a speaker or someone, an educational person come in, or a special event, I have an entertainer come in. This is where the budget will be cut. In some of the cases, some of our programs will be, I hate to do it, but especially wellness programs will be a pay-as-you-go program. And then there'll be cuts in our entertainment service. So if we have, someone come during the St. Patrick's Day is coming up, we have a great entertainer that we pay for out of this budget. I mean, that will be cut. So that's where things are gonna happen.
Thank you.
And the other item that was up just slightly was fuel. Is that fuel for the van?
My van, yeah, I just went along with the 5% increase on anything that had to do with our van because the van is a year older and still gets a lot of use.
Yes.
Mary, with the cut in some of your programs, are you going to now try to do that through fundraising?
Well, I'm hoping to go to my friends tonight and ask them to help support some of this programming. Like I said, they're always happy to give me money. I'll be asking that, and they will be, we hope not to cut. As you know, we have a one-room senior center, so it's very difficult, so things are going on every moment we have it open. So we're hoping that we can make do, and we will find a way. I mean, most senior center directors have to be very creative in how they keep programming going, and people up there every day being fed and having wellness program, health programs going on. So we will do that.
Mary, if we go back to FY 2009, we originally budgeted $10,000.
And professional
And-
services?
Yes.
Yeah, I took a,
And then you, I'm looking at professional services other. And then what was actually expended was $8,785. Was that the result of the adjustment that we made mid-year?
it was the adjustment that you
Okay, it
made.
wasn't that you just didn't need all of that money.
No, it was a result of the adjustment.
So basically, we're going, in 2008, do you recall how much was spent?
No, it was still probably $10,000. I took the 10,000. I'm pretty close. Sometimes we're very creative. I'm very fortunate that we get people to donate their time. We have generous donors who will donate money to a specific program,
Mhm.
and we make it work that way.
Okay. What other facility issues are there?
Our facility issues?
Yes.
Well, right now, we're very excited. I don't know if all of you got a packet. At the end of my program, I put a picture at the end. I thought it was a little kind of fun if you saw that. Our rehab going on
Yeah.
at the senior center outside, all great things happening there. We hope, we're looking, I think, early summer now for that happening. Facility inside, obviously, we could use more room. We could only run one program at a time at the senior center. We had our space study done in 2008. We're looking forward to going and asking town meeting sometime, hopefully not too far from now, to look at the senior center, that building on the common, and promoting all 3 floors into a senior center. That would give us room for more healthcare providers to come in, which I think will be a need as our population grows. More programs, more work programs where we can have people come in and use computers and find jobs, and just go with the flow of the influx of the younger seniors that are coming. I mean, a senior, I don't know if people like that word or not, but the truth is people are aging and they still need jobs. They're not going, they still want to be successful and contribute, so we need room to do that.
Have you looked at the high school at all?
And look in the high school for their building.
Look at the high school going downstream as a facility that could be used, or a portion thereof.
No, we haven't. and we've been just concentrating on our new building, out on the building on the Common, and maybe hopefully down the line, if the new housing comes into fruition, maybe adding something onto that area. But it is a need. I mean, you all have been in the building, you know it's falling apart.
Yeah, I guess my feeling is that the amount of money we'd have to spend to really do that building over would be better spent on a new facility or something that would provide really more space.
Oh,
and
I
probably
agree.
for less money.
But it is the best building and spot in town, and it would be nice to be able to, whether it's a senior center or a community center, that building has to be preserved and used
Yeah, that's true.
in some way or another, because it's just a waste. It's a wonderful building.
No, obviously, we have the study that's been done,
Mm-hmm.
several $1 million to implement it, but at some point, we're gonna have to face the music and spend some money on the facility and really upgrade it, and as you said, we're not gonna abandon it, so it's,
And it's empty
But-
space right now. It should be, I mean, all floors should be able to be utilized by the town, whether it's
Mhm.
for the community, a youth group, or school facilities, whatever. I mean, the building is there. It should be brought up to code and utilized.
Mhm.
there's no doubt, for $130,000, we get a lot of bang for our buck. Out of all the
Absolutely.
programs that are, the interesting, some of the interesting information that you provided us is the level of services that we get through Mystic Valley Elder Services that flow through your building and through your programs there. We're getting,
Which sadly, absolutely, home care budget, which is where we get funding from Mystic Valley Elder Services, as you can see in our packet, they give us over $600,000 worth of services for merely $2,100. Home care has been cut in the state, sadly, and that's another 6% that we may lose in some of this funding next year, because we're not gonna be able to provide some of the same services we do. Without Mystic Valley Elder Services, we, as a community, would not be able to serve our seniors at all.
how's that? No, in what areas?
In home care?
In home care?
Home care, so Mystic Valley Elder Services, their budget was cut for almost $600,000. And unfortunately, some of that money comes from protective services and things that we utilize quite often.
I think what people don't understand all the time, and we see it, it is sort of a shell game as to what they're doing, with the state budget, where they say they're gonna hold local aid the same, or education funding the same, and all they do is they take it from over here, and the fact that they may be attempting to keep local aid numbers stable, what they're doing is they're taking it from other areas, and for the most part, it's coming out of social service areas being impacted first and foremost, and as a result, we still will see an impact here.
Well, I have like a $15,000 budget, but if you look at the $600,000 I get from Mystic Valley, that's what makes it
That's
work.
right.
I'm not making it work on the $15,000, that's for sure.
So how much in home care do you get?
How much home care services do we get
Yeah,
from,
in
we
dollars.
have we get a list from them. Last year was $604,579.
Mhm.
I mean, that includes, fees for home delivered meals, legal services, congregate meals, home care services, protective services. I mean, they're actually what makes our department run.
So it makes it tick.
I mean, our 14,000 basically keeps our senior center, which is a
Mhm.
very small part of what we do. I actually have a friend who's in the same position at a city I won't mention, but she goes in front of her alderman every time, and they say, "Carolyn, you throw one hell of a party." They don't realize she does homeless shelters, or she's doing food pantries, and she's helping elderly people, but all they see is what she does at the senior center, and she does, 3 parties once a month, so
Okay,
we do a lot of work.
any other questions
I'm all
regarding
set.
this budget? Well, as we review the entire budget, we'll, keep an eye on the
And
cut to your
one more thing, if that camera's on,
professional services.
food